Welcome back to the Filmmakers Anonymous Show. This is our weekly podcast to discuss all things cinema. This is Mike here with you. I'm the president of Filmmakers Anonymous, UMBC's only film club. I'm joined by Costa, who is our treasurer.
What's up?
I'm joined by Tyler, our normal editor of the Filmmakers Anonymous Show and the secretary of our club.
Hello.
I'm joined by Amber, who's a regular on the show.
Yeah, I'm here.
That's good to know.
I'm here.
I would hope that I'm not just saying that random people are here, so thank you for reaffirming that.
No problem.
We are also joined by Matt Rowe. Matt.
Good day, everyone.
I'm also joined by Filmmaker Anonymous members Steve.
What's up?
And Greg.
Boy, howdy.
gotta come up with an original intro. I love that.
Before we get into our topic for today, I just want to let everybody know that, as usual, you can find us on our social media by searching UMBC's Filmmakers Anonymous on Facebook. You can tweet us at UMBCFA is our username, and you can watch previous episodes of the show on our YouTube page, youtube.com/UMBCFA. And if you want to download full episodes of the show, go to groupspaces.com/Filmmakers Anonymous, because that's where we put the full extended versions. On YouTube, it's the broadcast versions.
I thought you were going to say, and if you want to donate.
Oh, and if you want to donate money,
we're always accepting donations.
I was like, we can do it.
Call this number, 443.
Let me give you my PayPal account, and you can just deposit that stuff right in there. I will not ask any questions.
Alright, so Thanksgiving is right around the corner, so I thought we'd be festive this week, I guess if you want to apply the term festive. And this we're going to talk about the films that we are thankful for. So basically, for whatever reason that you might be thankful for the existence of a film, or some of the things about cinema as well, like some certain trends in cinema as well. So, right off the bat, let's just start from my left here, and Greg is brand new to our podcast, so we're going to give him the first crack at it.
Alright, should I just read them all at once, or?
Go one at a time. Everybody's going to have a certain amount of time. At one point, I'm going to speed everybody up through it just so.
When you get to the end.
What?
When you get to the end table, like us.
No. I meant after a few minutes or so. Say what movie.
Yeah.
Explain why you're thankful for it. And again, that reason can be whatever reason you want. But explain why you're thankful for it, and then we can react to it as we want. But yeah, and then just go down.
We'll react.
We will react. There will be reaction.
Let's just name films that Matt hates.
Good luck trying to find it.
Titanic.
Challenge.
That's the only one you know.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
What?
Just like a sentence or two for each.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Just just explain it. Go ahead.
Alright, I guess on the top of my list, no particular order, start with Batman Returns.
Yes.
We were just talking about this actually pre-intro.
I wonder if it was indicative of anything.
I'm grateful for that too.
I like how, I thought it was a step up from the first Batman, because as great as the Joker was, I found Batman to be really unimpressive in the first one. Like I know it was his first time, with the busting bad guys, but he still seemed kind of like he doesn't fit to the image we have of him, where he's this professional who, is able to take down anybody with enough planning. And I know some people might like that it's more realistic in the take that he doesn't win every single fist fight he's in, but at the same time I feel it's a little bit unsatisfying. So Returns at least made it more interesting with the villains, for one, and the scene where the Batmobile deploys into the smaller Batmobile, starts shooting up the place. You can't beat that.
It's true. Go on.
Okay.
Keep going.
I guess for my next movie, I picked Death Wish.
Gotta love Charles Bronson, man.
Bronson is the fucking man. Can we swear in these, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
No, you cannot fucking swear.
See, if you actually listen to the last couple, you'd know that we swear all the time. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was pretty cool how in that movie it's based off of the book Death Wish, and we might have the image of of him just being a thoughtless vigilante who kills people as a guilty pleasure sort of film. But the first one definitely doesn't really fit that. It's more somber. He doesn't actually start killing people until at least after the halfway point. So there's a lot of introspection at the first point. Plus, it's the first movie with Jeff Goldblum.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he plays a
That's
rapist.
impressive. Oh, that's one way to break it into the industry.
Well, it's better than Tony Shalhoub, who played a terrorist.
That's true.
Alright, third movie, another Tim Burton movie, Mars Attacks.
Nice.
I love that film.
I find that of all his movies, that's the one I like the most. It has an all-star cast, and they did like nothing Oscar-worthy with them, which is why I respect them.
Jack fucking Black.
Jack Black.
It's got Jack Black, Pierce Brosnan. It's got Jack Nicholson in 2 roles, and I read once that the execs told him that you can't kill Jack Nicholson, so his response is to kill him twice.
That's the way you do it.
And the entire cameo by Tom Jones was pretty rad.
Nice.
The next movie is by, I believe, Terry Gilliam, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yes, it was.
Lovely.
Very good.
I love how, one, it felt just like the book. Like, I watched the movie first, and after that I read the book, and I thought, wow, they left like nothing out. I mean, as far as I read, I didn't read all of it. Bookstore.
Just flipping through.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I thought it was, pretty awesome how it's a period piece, and 2, it's a drug movie, but without being like, retarded.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, yeah, you gotta really read the works of Hunter S. Thompson to really get his thing. I mean, he pushed it way too far, but he was fucking intelligent as hell.
That and the scene with the lizard people is pretty good.
Middle of a fucking reptile zoo, and someone would give me boobs to these goddamn animals.
The last one is by John Carpenter, They Live.
Oh, yay.
I wonder how many reactions we're gonna get from Matt after every movie that's
I'm just
named.
gonna be like, greatest fight scene ever.
That goes on for 10 minutes way too long. Oh my glasses!
Matt's probably the only one here who's actually heard of all of our movies, so...
I'm glad I'm pandering to this side of the room.
I had too much time on my hands when I was younger.
Yeah, the fight scene and the kick ass and chew bubblegum, although
Which Duke Nukem totally ripped off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I heard this word actually came up. It was ad-libbed by Rowdy Roddy Piper.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Oreo? Yeah. I knew it was you guys, and I kept waving, but now I'm way back, so.
Yeah, we're doing our podcast.
Oh.
No, it's okay.
We'll edit it out. It's okay.
No, but listen to it. I'm gonna mention your response.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So, hey Scott, what's up?
Hey,
Now I feel terrible.
is this recording right now?
Yes.
So you're gonna pay us for using our.
No, we're gonna edit you.
No. Yeah.
You gonna hunt us down
Ouch.
with
That's the thing with filmmakers. We manipulate reality.
You gonna chase us down with a non-disclosure form? Or-
Yeah. Well, no, we don't really.
Sign this!
You 2 volunteered to walk in,
Oh,
so.
don't say it's me. Sorry. Sorry again.
No, it's okay, dude.
Well, I can see the setup.
Sorry.
Alright, we'll enjoy. Carry on.
Cool.
See you.
See you.
Filmmakers Club rules.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. See you guys.
Use that as the stinger.
I had a feeling they were going to do that too. The minute I saw them, I just had.
Why
a
are there
feeling
no
they were
locks on
gonna
the
do
door?
They walked by.
Right. So anyway, that's my 5.
that. Okay.
So if I took something from somebody else's list, then I apologize preemptively.
How dare you, sir? No, it's okay. All right.
You have like the same damn list. I might as well just like walk out the door now. Like I'm ready to talk.
Okay, so just to
Man,
recap,
fuck you,
it was
Greg.
Batman Returns, Death Wish, Mars Attacks, Fear and Loathing, and They Live.
Yeah, originally I was just gonna do Battlefield Earth to troll all of you.
You should have, man.
How
it's okay.
to
We would
how
all
to
be like,
use the
"Get out."
gut check.
But that would have
Well, that was Greg's first and last appearance on the Filmmakers Zombie Show.
that would require me to actually see all of it.
Amber, why don't you give us your list?
Okay, so I know I'm a little older than everybody in here, so my list consists of a lot of 80s movies because I grew up in. I was born in '86, but like a lot of 80s movies, so I have really random stuff. But I think the first one that I'm grateful for is the Ghostbusters.
Yes.
I am a huge Ghostbusters fan, and I will admit that when I was 3 or 4 years old, I loved Bill Murray, like so much so that I was like, that's my boyfriend, like when I was little. Because I loved the Ghostbusters so much, and I loved Bill Murray, and I also used to watch, they used to have a cartoon, and I used to watch that all the time, so I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. And so a lot of these, I should say, a lot of these movies on the list are ones that I wish I could make. I wish it would be like, I wish I did that movie, because it's so great.
Would you be the equivalent of Tallahassee in Zombieland? If you had a chance to meet Bill Murray?
Oh my god, yes.
Just wanted to know.
No question.
Yes. So Ghostbusters, because I used to watch that all the time. I had a Ghostbusters party when I was younger, and I had a Proton pack and everything. Like, I love Ghostbusters.
So wait. What did you do at the Ghostbusters party? Did you actually go around your house?
It was a Ghostbusters theme party, and it was like a flashlight, and you pull a trigger, and it had like some kind of filter on the light, so a ghost would show up on the thing. So it's cool. So I had that, and I loved slime and all that stuff. So that's one of my favorite movies of all time. The next one is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first movie from 1990, because I saw it twice, and I love Ninja Turtles as well. And that's one of the movies that, even though it depends also on what period growing up.
You have to be nostalgic, for that movie a little bit.
That
has to be
kind of talking about.
That has to be kind of like your childhood. I watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon series that they had, in the original cartoon, not the one whatever that they redid.
They've done several reboots.
Yeah, exactly. None of those. The original cartoon.
Yeah, I grew up watching the original cartoon, and then when the movie came out when I was little, I was like, holy shit. Oh my god, and they were so real. And I still love that movie. Like, it doesn't, even though some people feel like it's dated and old, I still love it so much. And I'm grateful that I have that movie because Michael Bay will destroy it. So at least I have that.
Well, he's not directing it.
Well,
not anymore.
But he's producing it.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
with the original movie, also Shredder falls into a garbage truck. How can you say no to that?
No.
So.
and also, who was in it? Oh god, it was like the one guy's first movie, and he was in 7 Psychopaths and
Someone look it up.
I'm
To
forgetting his name,
Wikipedia.
but,
Sam Rockwell?
Sam Rockwell.
There you go.
Sam Rockwell's in it, which I love is great. He's just like a thug.
How did we have these podcasts without Matt?
I know. I usually know that Sam Rockwell.
Well, usually Sander looks it up on his iPhone. So.
So that's another one. Another one that I'm grateful for is the Goonies.
The fucking Goonies! If you haven't seen the Goonies, you have not lived.
Yeah, it's just a great PG-13 kids movie where everybody can curse and they find treasure and gold. It's like the best adventure kids movie ever.
You definitely see Steven Spielberg's writing skills.
Oh yeah. Let me see what else I have on here.
And Chris Columbus.
What number are you at right now? Was that 3 or?
That was 3.
That was
3. Okay, you got 2 more.
Okay.
Don't screw it up.
Well, these I have 2 movies in one just because it's the genres. So I'm a big vampire fan.
Okay.
Not sparkly movies that call themselves.
I was about to say now, isn't it sad that we have to specify what type of vampire?
Isn't it great that it's over now?
Yes, that's true.
No, it's not completely over until it's out of theaters.
No, until it's finally on DVD for a while.
Yes.
Then people will stop bitching about it.
Yeah. 2 movies I like: the original Fright Night and The Lost Boys. So I put them together because I think they're like the best vampire movies ever.
Okay.
But at least the best ones of the 80s.
Yeah, of the 80s. I think that I just enjoy them overall.
At least the ones I've seen.
And then what's that, 4?
Yes. Yeah. That 2 as 1 is 4.
Yeah, and I don't know. My favorite movie.
That's like a tied for 4th sort of thing.
Well, I just feel like good vampire movies because I
Right.
don't think we see them anymore.
There are very few.
Yeah. And I think those are the top-notch ones when people talk about like the best or recommendation. They're always in that list of top 5 or whatever.
Give it 15 or 20 years, we might see another good vampire movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has to go away and somebody be creative about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, I don't know which one to go with. I would say like my favorite movie of all time is Heathers.
Okay.
So, and that's just a really dark, disturbing comedy about high school and murder and murder that is switching to suicide. And I love that movie because even though they're trying to turn it into a TV show, I know they'll fuck it up. But I love that movie because it was talking about issues that are that were taboo that nobody would talk about, like with teen suicide and bullying and things like that back in like '89. So nobody really talked about it. They just wanted to focus on like Breakfast Club and my parents don't pay attention to me. But I
You gotta love
find
John Hughes movies though, or
Yeah.
at least '80s John Hughes before he started probably smoking crack. But
yeah. But I love this movie because it's a dark comedy. But as the years go on, and you see these issues now with like kids committing suicide because they're gay or all that, things like that are being brought up that are being. I find the movies getting more darker and disturbing. So it's with age, even though it's very dated and it's very 80s and it's sometimes cliche. So I found myself at parts that I was laughing at that I find myself like I shouldn't be laughing at that because this is an issue now. So this actually isn't funny because this is actually going on. So
well, if it's 22.3 years, then it's fine. And when that South Park rules, AIDS is finally funny.
yeah. So that's my favorite movie, and I wish I could write it because I think it's really greatly written and stuff like that. So those are some of my favorite movies.
Cool. Awesome. Costa?
Alright, well, I've actually revised my list a couple of times. It's really hard, but after hearing Amber mention Ghostbusters, it made me think I had to add this movie to my list because I just love it so much, but Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
I had to put Caddyshack on the list. Like, it is by far probably my favorite comedy movie of all time. I mean, you don't see that type of comedy anymore. You got a young Bill Murray, Rodney Dangerfield. It was just hilarious. Love that movie. So that was like a last minute addition. I really didn't have any thought as to why I'm thankful for it, but I love the movie so much. So I am.
It's just that Bill Murray factor.
Yes,
man.
exactly.
He's just like
Exactly.
Bill Murray's great.
I'll agree to that. I did like a lot of stuff that Bill Murray is in.
The second movie on my list is Remember the Titans.
Ah, yes. Probably the best sports film
That
out
was
there.
played in school. Over.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was.
ABC Family all the time.
I mean, I was what 9 years old when Remember the Titans came out. So yeah, it came out in '99, and this was right around the time I really started to watch like football all the time with my dad and my uncles and everything, and so the fact that it dealt with football and it was just this really emotional movie. It did have a lot of when you go back and watch it years later, it's like it's still your prototypical cliche sports movie, but I don't know what was so much different about it. Maybe it was Denzel Washington. Maybe that was I don't know.
But there are
Ryan Gosling for me.
That's right. Yeah, he was.
But there are cliches in sports, and then not only that, you have Denzel Washington playing a character who's not somebody who's trying to stop a train from derailing or like some type of action hero.
Well, Unstoppable was a good movie.
Okay, and I'm not saying that, but if you look at Denzel Washington's
rest in peace,
filmography, it's all like action hero, action hero, action hero, action hero. Remember the Titans coach, action hero, action hero.
Right, I mean it's right, and plus the fact that I've seen the movie so many times that it I never get tired of watching it. It's so enjoyable as far as sports films go.
Especially the last scene when they both hold up the football.
Oh yeah,
at the end of the last game.
Exactly.
Yeah. Love that part.
The next movie on my list is Scott Pilgrim.
Yes. Scott Pilgrim.
What I loved so much about that movie and why I'm so thankful is just because how much it just embraces the geek culture. I'm such a huge geek and nerd that I just watching that movie just oozes just that sort of feel and I just love the fact that this revolves around this idea of video games and music, two of my favorite things in the whole world, and
Well,
you know,
and the fact that it uses all of that, but then doesn't but takes it seriously at the same time.
well, right, and you and I were having the discussion earlier how it also, it was similar to musicals in that instead of just random, dance or music skits, it's just, these fight scenes that pop up that are very, very well shot, I thought, and I love the special effects. As cheesy and corny as they are, if you understand, what they mean, then it just makes it all the more
Enjoyable.
awesome and all the more enjoyable. Yeah.
I really need to rewatch Scott Pilgrim because when I watched it, I wasn't a fan.
And plus,
Same with me either.
I mean, I definitely think that's a movie you need to rewatch a couple times, but I mean, actually, that's the way I am with most movies. But yeah, when I first saw Scott Pilgrim, I'm like, nah, I wasn't too into it.
It's Michael Cera factor for me.
There are some moments that sort of stretch it a little bit too far, like the whole vegan power things.
I thought that was hilarious.
I thought it was funny, but at the same time, it was like, that's a little.
See,
that's
that
a
was
little too much.
that was actually one
That's
of
a
my
little
favorite
too
parts
corny.
in the movie. But and if you're talking about product placement in a film too, like Scott Pilgrim takes the cake on that one. But that's a whole other discussion.
Well, go to your next one.
It's almost as bad as Space Jam.
Yeah.
That was almost on my list, by the way, Space Jam. I believe. It was almost on my list.
I actually forgot about that movie, but I used to love that film.
I loved it too until I watched it about a year ago.
Oh yeah. I haven't watched it in years, and I'm preserving my
Yeah,
memory.
preserve your memory of the film because it will get raped.
The next movie on my list is pretty much the entire Back to the Future series. Again, it's just another
When
one. Of those-
Zemeckis was still good.
well,
I haven't seen Flight, so I can't say much
And
on
here's
that.
one of the reasons, though, not just because the movies, it's basically got a cult following now. That's not one of the reasons why I'm thankful for it, but it's also what the movie symbolizes. Because I actually watched one of these behind the scenes documentary things, and they were talking to Robert Zemeckis, and they spent a couple years trying to sell this film idea, trying to get it into motion. And they just kept on working out, and eventually the script got into the hands of Steven Spielberg, and he's like, "Fuck it, let's do it. This is amazing." And and I just think
Thank you, Steven.
Well, right. I mean, I think it just the work that was put into it is just showing you that for those that want to get into the industry, just don't give up on your idea. Someone out there will like your idea and will help you push it forward. So not only is Back to the Future a good film series, but I also think just how it came to be is why I'm thankful, because it's proof.
I think the first movie of Back to the Future is what you would consider it's a perfect movie.
Right.
It's just perfect. It was just I don't want to change anything. It's
Well, also,
just perfect.
and plus the other thing I do like about them is that's one of the few. In fact, I think it's the only movie where the ending it shows you previews of the next film.
Yeah.
To get you amped up for the next one. So.
Well, the second one did that because the second and third one filmed at the
right.
same time.
All right.
What were you gonna say, Greg?
Oh, I was gonna say that the part where he's like Reagan, the actor.
Yeah.
President Reagan actually, was watching that clip in the White House, and he asked the projectionist to rewind it because that was his favorite part.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I bet it was that vain prick.
And then the last film on my list is a very, 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 very recent addition. Is Skyfall. I am very, very thankful for Skyfall.
That was very close to being on my list too.
Yeah, the reason why I enjoy Skyfall so much, which is pretty much why I think a lot of other people would be thankful for Skyfall, is that it was courageous enough to change a formula that had worked for almost for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact
that's
that
why it worked.
Yes, exactly. it changed the Bond formula. I hadn't seen all the movies, but I'd seen about half of them, so I think it's fair to say if you see at least that many of the Bond movies, you get a sense of how they work. Mm-hmm. And they completely changed it. It was such a good movie. I enjoyed it from the beginning. Again, I said in last week's podcast, I thought Skyfall was the best movie I'd seen this year. I enjoyed it actually more than Batman or the Avengers or other big movies that come out this year. So
It honestly was probably better than Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
I actually think
I
it
would
was.
agree with
I can say that with confidence.
I agree the fact that it was they changed the formula. One, they made it a very basic plot, which worked for it. Because if you see the majority of those films, it just keeps going more and more cartoonish as they get along, especially when it came down to Quantum of Solace. That's why I loved how much that Skyfall satirized. It was like, we don't have any... It was like, what, were you expecting exploding pens? And I'm like, that was fucking hilarious.
So basically the one thing I like the most about Skyfall is that just like the message that you kind of get from Back to the Future, if you kind of get like some of the behind the scenes stuff, but Skyfall proves that it's never a bad thing. There's always a good way to mix things up and be successful. So
it's encouraging to take chances
Exactly.
with even something as established as James Bond.
Yep.
Matt, you want to go?
Okay, I've been racking my brain on this, and like it's beyond the films that are necessarily my favorites. I've been really trying to think about the films that, if they weren't around, my current perspective on filmmaking wouldn't really exist.
And that's fine.
And 4 of them are films. One of them's a TV show. But all right, I'm just gonna start with the show first. Deadwood. I sing its praises all the time. My friend Zach got me into it. It's something that's really hard to get into initially because of the way everything's set up. But now I'm convinced it probably is one of the best shows on television in history. Period. Everyone there's literally been books written about how influential and how important Deadwood has been. It is the perfect combination of directing, acting, writing. There is not a single solitary thing with that show that I can nitpick about. Everything falls into place perfectly. David Milch is a genius. He is getting fist fucked over by HBO again, but, whatever. Fucking PETA. But I'm moving on from that. The first... It's because horses died on luck, which canceled his show.
Right, yeah.
But...
but when 3 of them die in a row, that's pretty bad. Anyway, go ahead.
I know. But you know what? No one gripes about Andrei Tarkovsky killing a horse in Andrei Rublev, okay? So, or else Milo Otis killing over 300 animals trying to make that movie. He didn't think it was a nice little kids film, and over 300 animals were butchered for it. But
sounds pretty good to me.
Fucking Japanese, man. But all right.
Who wants to have a screening later? No, go ahead, Matt.
But all right, the first film that really I'm thankful for, mainly because a couple years ago, when I was kind of going through a really strong bout of depression and whatnot, I was really seriously contemplating whether or not I wanted to continue in filmmaking, and I decided to watch Tamir Bamkov's film Night Watch, which I think is probably one of the most creative vampire films that has come out in the last 10 years. I watched the movie, and as soon as the movie ended, I'm like, yeah, I really want to fucking make movies now. Because it was one of those films that literally the creativity involved with it. Now, the funny thing is, Tamir Bamkov hasn't, in English-speaking films, because he directed Wanted, which wasn't all that great of a movie. Visually, it was really cool,
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
Yeah, he did Abraham Lincoln. I haven't seen Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Don't.
Well, I want to watch it just because it seems there's so much camp there that
If you like his movies, then he'll break your heart.
But I think Night Watch, not only is it visually a creative, it's a one hell of an interesting way to tell a vampire story. They don't even go out and say that they're necessarily vampires, except maybe 1 or 2 times in the movie. They just literally call them, Night Watch, exactly what they are. And the whole drinking blood thing and all that stuff is barely even a subplot in the movie. That's actually very, very barely touched upon, but in the very beginning it is, but all that stuff. But it's all about, how you can't escape your fate, and how trying what you can, it's very much like a Macbeth story. Like, you do what you can to try to avoid your fate, but you end up running headlong into it. I think it's a really great story. And also the screenplay was really well done. Next one is actually the documentary Koyaanisqatsi. I know you don't like it, Mike. The reason that I love that film to death, and the reason I'm really thankful for it, is because it was one of the films that really taught you how to shoot a landscape.
Okay, that's fair. I
The
can give that.
cinematography in that movie is absolutely astounding. It's probably some of the best I've ever seen in movies, period. I love the score from Philip Glass. I'm a really big fan of his, especially after I heard his score he did for Mishimi, A Life in 4 Chapters, which was a really great film by, oh god, I can't remember his name, but off the top of my head. But the thing is, at the same time, even though it is a plotless movie and it really is just all about imagery and sound, it takes you into a different experience that you're able to let go of rational belief, rational thought and whatnot, and just bask in the experience. And there are very few movies that I've been able to see that you're able to actually do that. 2001's one of those things that you're able just, especially the last half of the movie, you're able to just to bask in the experience. My next one is Requiem for a Dream. And I love all of Darren Aronofsky's movies. I think he's probably one of the greatest visionaries working in the film medium today. But Requiem for a Dream, I believe, not only is his magnum opus to this point. I love Black Swan, but I don't think he deserved the Best Director Oscar for that one. I think he should have gotten
Best Director Oscar.
He got nominated, but but he didn't even get nominated for Requiem. I think
he should have got.
He should, because Requiem, I believe, is one of the most snubbed movies in history. Ellen Burstyn does an amazing job. Jared Leto does Jared Leto.
The brother of Jay Leno.
Who the funny thing is, I'm not a fan of his music, obviously, but at the same time, he's a really good actor. The first time I ever saw him was in American Psycho, where he gets axed to death by Christian Bale. And in this movie, he really does come across as someone who's very genuine. I believed everything. Marlon Wayans gives an amazing performance in this film. This is the same year he was in Dungeons and Dragons, which is astounding to me.
The entire cast should have got nominated.
Yeah, it should have.
Everybody in that cast should have got nominated.
Everybody did their roles amazingly well. The editing was beyond reproach. I mean, Aronofsky's use of the hip hop montage is something that's unparalleled. Jonas Ackland tried to recreate that in his movie Spun in 2004, which is basically Requiem for a Dream on meth instead of heroin. And
to put it into perspective,
basically, I mean, it's a hell of a movie to watch. I won't say it's good, but Requiem for a Dream, I think, should be taught in every film school in the country, as well as in every drug rehab center.
I've heard a lot of people say, people who have been addicted to heroin say Requiem for a Dream is the closest thing they've ever seen to trying to explain to somebody what it's like to be on, at least on heroin.
Mm-hmm.
The mindset and just being addicted to something.
Yeah.
It's the closest thing that they've ever seen to trying to explain to them.
And I think really Requiem for a Dream is in my personal opinion, I might be overstating matters because obviously I haven't seen all the films that have come from that point. It really is what I believe to be the formation of what the modern tragedy movie is. Because even the title itself, Requiem for a Dream, literally means a funeral for your dream. Which these people's addictions and the way they live their lives kills all the hopes and ambitions that they had. And then that is what becomes their world. And it's unbelievably depressing to see these people just fall into this pit, but at the same time, it's done with such a sense of respect for the characters. It doesn't degrade them. It shows their characters falling to pieces, but it doesn't say that these people are bad. These are just people who have just succumbed to this horrible addiction. And that's one thing that you don't have a lot with a lot of modern drug movies is that they don't give respect to the characters. It's like, oh, they're just junkies and and they're the scum of the earth and type of stuff. I'm like, no. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite authors in history is William S. Burroughs, and he was a junkie until he was in 83. Mm-hmm. All right. The last movie I'm thankful for is actually a Serbian film.
Oh,
now, I will explain why.
I won't watch that movie. Somebody's like, you should watch
it. No. The thing I will say, a Serbian film is not a movie. It's an endurance test. Now, I will say the reason I am thankful for this film is that it showed me my own boundaries of where I am willing to not go. And it showed, I've seen the movie twice. That alone will tell you volumes about my personality. But at the same time, it showed me all the stuff that I was not willing to put in my own films. And like I'm very much influenced by film noir, so like I believe that implication and implying things is sometimes more stronger than actually seeing it. I don't need to see a woman get raped and have her head chopped off, okay? So, and I don't need to see newborn porn. So the thing
Speak for
is,
yourself.
and the thing is, I call it the ultimate feel-bad movie because you feel like your soul is being ripped out while you're watching it.
A
And
little more than that's being ripped out in that movie.
yeah, well, lots is being ripped out. It gives a new term. It gives a new definition to the term skull fucking. I won't get into that, but the thing is, it as a movie, it's incredibly well made. I will not deny that the craft used to create this film was probably some of the top notch I've seen in horror films, but that's really the problem with it. If it was a badly made movie, then it was just a bad exploitation film. The fact that this movie was so well made makes it even harder to swallow. And oh, shut up, Costa! It's like I know, I get it, I get all the fucking references.
Well,
yes,
the innuendos of things.
I can keep going too. No.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not.
Yeah.
That's another. Well, that's.
The final word I'll say on that is the fact of the matter is just that it really shows how depraved the human imagination can become, and I thought that I was depraved in some regards, and movies like Martyrs or like The Angel's Melancholy didn't affect me in the same way that this movie did. And actually, I don't think I dread the day a movie worse in that type of a content than a Serbian film comes out, because then I'll probably start losing my faith in humanity.
Well, haven't you heard? A Serbian Jew is coming out.
No, but
Just announced.
Sergeant Spashovic is involving himself in the movie ABC's Death.
Well, I certainly hope that whatever this worst movie is, it involves Vern Troyer in some fashion.
Fuck Vern
Steve, you want to go ahead with your list here?
Sure. In no particular order, first movie I'm thankful for is King Kong, the original.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, please not the
no,
Peter Jackson one.
No, I don't like that movie at all.
The
It was
70s one?
okay, though.
It was fucking boring, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, anyway. Anyway, I love the original King Kong, okay, partly because I love the stop motion in that movie. Hey, I think it looks great. And also because I'm a big fan of monster movies, and I know that's not the first monster movie, but it's like one of the first like giant monster movies, and I always love it for that. And I love how it ends. On its own, it's a great movie. Hey, I've watched it several times. I love it every time, and I also love how it inspired several other monster movies, including Godzilla. So, the Japanese one.
It's Godzilla!
It was also Hitler's favorite movie.
Oh.
I'm not even making that up.
Wow.
Anyway,
There's Matt with his 2
I'm gonna
cents.
throw my two in there.
I'm trying to say.
okay, second, this is going back to what Amber did, 2 movies in one, and since they are pretty much the same. Yojimbo and A Fistful of Dollars. Yeah, they really are the same movie if you watch them. I actually like A Fistful of Dollars more, but I feel like I have to throw Yojimbo in there just because. But I love both of those movies. Yojimbo, I think, is probably the best thing Akira Kurosawa has done, in my opinion. And A Fistful of Dollars, I just think it's a fantastic movie. Of westerns that I've seen, it's probably my favorite one. And Clint Eastwood is just fantastic in that movie. So, next, what's next?
Check your list.
Okay. Hey, wait, fuck.
Whoa. Just go ahead, man.
Okay, no, sorry. Hey, I forgot one of them. My next, I was originally going to I was thinking about putting Skyfall on this list, but you assholes took it. So,
Costa with the upset of the week.
Just because he was first.
I would honestly would have still said Skyfall. I know someone else would have.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Hey, but I am putting a James Bond movie on here. I'm actually putting Goldfinger on here,
nice.
mostly because it's a third James Bond movie, but it's the first one that it's, in my opinion, it's the first James Bond movie where I wasn't bored watching it, because I like Dr. No, but it like got a little slow.
Takes a while.
It takes a while.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
And from Russia with Love, I was just fucking bored.
I
in
did
that
not
movie.
like From Russia with Love.
No.
That was like one of the few Connery films I've actually ever seen, because I haven't seen
I do love the
a lot
theme.
of James Bond
I
films.
do love the theme.
But and that's fine. But From Russia with Love did not interest me in
No.
any way. And the ending scene, I just thought was stupid.
Yeah.
I got nothing out of that ending scene. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
But
The
yeah.
game was even worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
But Goldfinger is, in my opinion, probably the first really good Bond movie, and it was probably the best Bond movie for years to come. And it was probably the movie that really made Bond what it became, and before it ultimately became the same movie over and over and over. But it was back in the day when it hadn't gotten old yet, so I love it for that.
Before it got completely ridiculous, because
Yes.
I've been going on a James Bond kick,
There
and
you
I
go.
watched the movie that, I forget which one, is it Thunderball, that follows
Yeah.
Goldfinger? And
Yeah.
I was watching, it was like, the movie opens up with James Bond attending his funeral, then fighting somebody in drag, and then escaping through it with a jetpack, and I go, oh god.
Thunderball, my main problem with that movie is that there are way too many fucking underwater scenes.
Yes, and then there's an underwater civil war.
Yes, there is.
Wow.
Question, Aaron. Have you gotten to Live and Let Die yet?
No, I'm going through them in order, so I'm on
Okay,
Her
you're
Majesty's
on Love
Secret
How That
Service.
Ends then.
Don't tell me. Don't tell
I'm
me.
just
Spoiler free zone. Well, with
Kinda.
limitations.
Whatever. But anyway, yeah, Goldfinger. So, my next was, I have to keep checking my list.
It's all good.
My next is Jaws.
Jaws. Nice.
I love that movie to death, which is kind of funny because when I first saw it as a kid, it scared the hell out of me. I did not want to go to the beach after that.
I watched it right before going to the beach. Ain't that a kick?
I watched
Wow.
it at the beach and then went swimming.
Where are the sharks?
Fucking shark.
But I love that movie, partly because it really made Steven Spielberg's career, and I absolutely adore several of the movies he made after that. And but was that where he got his start, or did he do something before
I
Jaws?
think he
Well,
did
he did
something
a couple-
before it, but Jaws is what made him.
Yeah,
When
Jaws.
did Jaws come out?
75.
Yeah.
75. Yeah, I think that was one. Yeah, that was
I think
definitely
that
one.
The
might
one
be-
movie that Steven Spielberg did beforehand that he got a lot of acclaim for was a TV movie called Duel.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
yeah.
And that basically it was just Jaws on wheels.
But yeah,
Yeah, because then after that it was Indiana Jones for Spielberg.
I thought it was
No.
E.T., wasn't it?
I thought it was
Oh, was
close.
it?
it was either E.T. or Close Encounters.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Close
I
Encounters.
think it was Close Encounters.
Close Encounters came before
Yeah.
E.T.
Okay.
Because E.T. was like 80, 81.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was definitely more recent than
Okay.
in the 70s.
All right. Okay. But yeah, Jaws, love it. Made Steven Spielberg.
Even though it killed the age of the director. But anyway.
There you go.
Hey man.
No, I love the movie. I can't disagree with that.
And my last one is the original Alien.
Yay.
Nice.
As I don't know why, but I've always loved that movie much more than Aliens. I just
Because Ridley Scott is better than James Cameron.
no, there you
There
there you go.
Just like it. Just
There
like
you
it.
there you go. So I just thought it was a great movie. Again, a movie that scared me as a kid, but it grew to love it, and I've watched it probably about 3 times.
Did you see Prometheus?
I did not see Prometheus.
Don't
Okay.
don't say I'm still
I was just curious, that's all.
So anyway, that's my 5. You.
Tyler! Your turn. Your
Alright.
turn.
well, to start off, I'll go with what's also my favorite movie of all time, The Truman Show.
Nice.
Yay, very good movie.
I'm really
Yes.
thankful for it because Jim Carrey is probably one of my favorite comedic actors still
Yes.
alive.
I'll agree.
Just love the whole drama comedy mix and how well it works. And I also really love the music in it, done by Philip Glass to bring him up again. And I mean, one track in it specifically, I liked it so much that I learned how to play it myself.
Oh.
Second movie on my list, Doctor Strangelove.
Yes! 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 Sorry.
I think
Anything
Matt,
Kubrickian.
Matt just sort of exploded over there. I think we're finding pieces of him all around the room.
Yes,
Some of the pieces are still talking.
Now I'm just trying to stomp him out.
Start the reactor!
No, go ahead, Tyler. I'm sorry.
I just have this guilty pleasure soft spot for Cold War films. I just love looking back and they thought they were going to die.
We're gonna die now!
They were so afraid of the nuclear
And then
war.
Peter Sellers would have to be one of my favorite comedic actors who is unfortunately dead. Yeah, I loved him in his three roles.
Right, that
Yeah.
nuke all the way to oblivion.
Oh.
Well, that wasn't Sellers though.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. It's
No,
like,
that was Slim Pickens.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah,
iconic movie scene now.
Okay. After that, third film is Time Bandits.
I love Time Bandits.
Nice.
Terry Gilliam is the shit.
Yes. And it's you see, and I remember last year I was trying to make a list of favorite films, and I was trying to debate between Time Bandits and Brazil, but to me, just the child innocence of Time Bandits is what sold me, because that's really what I want to see in an actual kids film. One, it's clear kiddish, but it's smart enough, and it has the subtext in it to really understand and be able to watch when you grow older. And also you can't go wrong with having some of the Python cast in there. Please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's.
Because Terry Gilliam was the only American member of Monty Python. And,
Hey,
sorry, no.
Whatever they did, it
No,
worked.
my mind went on a tangent. You know that J.K. Rowling wanted him to do the Harry Potter movies?
That would
Oh.
That would have been fucking
No,
awesome. But
no,
the thing
I
is, though,
agree.
they didn't think that he was going to be able to do a kids film, so they hired Chris Columbus instead.
Which
I mean, Chris Columbus did a good job, but seriously, Terry Gilliam doing those movies, I would have bought 3 copies of each one.
Why would you need 3 copies?
I have
of the
5
same
copies of
movie?
The Godfather.
Are they different editions of the movie, or are they all the same?
One's VHS, one's a regular DVD, one's the Coppola Restoration copy. Actually, I have 2 Coppola Restoration copies by accident, and also I've got a Blu-ray version which I have no player to play on. So
Then why do you have the Blu-ray?
it was at a garage sale. They sold it for a nickel. I'm like, I'm gonna get The Godfather.
It's okay, I have the same thing. I have 3 copies of Heathers. I have 2 limited edition ones. And
See, when I got Inception,
VHS.
when I got Inception for my birthday, I wanted the Blu-ray set before I had a Blu-ray player. But at that point, I kind of given up on the Xbox, and I had wanted a PS3 at that point. So I was like,
You were just buying it for the format. We
no,
bought
and I was also buying it for special features that they didn't have on the regular DVD. Tyler,
Go
let's get
ahead,
back to you.
Sorry.
Let's go back to your
Sorry.
list.
Tangents.
Just an aside, one thing I noticed when you're going all around, all the movies on my list are all seen on DVD release and after the fact. Well, because for pretty much all of them, they were impossible to have seen while in theaters.
Yeah, it would have been hard for you to have watched Doctor Strangelove when it
Yeah.
first came out.
40 years of
Almost 50. February 2014 is the 50th anniversary.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Happy
50
birthday.
almost.
And then they're gonna jack up the prices now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just like
Tyler,
the Citizen
go ahead
Kane.
with your next one.
Alright, so for 4, I had trouble trying to pick what I wanted, so I'm just gonna go with the entirety of Hitchcock's movies.
All of Hitchcock.
Just Hitchcock.
Now,
Hitchcock in and of
have you
himself.
seen all of Hitchcock?
Okay, all the Hitchcock movies I've seen except for what's it called? Without Doubt or what's
Shadow of a Doubt.
Yeah, that's the only movie that I just did not
Really
like.
interesting.
Yeah,
I like Shadow of a Doubt. So
I can have a discussion with that later.
we'll have a Hitchcock podcast out of that.
Yeah, Virgo is my favorite by far, but the problem is on like repeated viewings, like it just like goes down value for me. But still a lot of movies. Virgo, Psycho. I really wish there was a way to watch a movie without knowing the twists.
Yeah,
Go back in time.
that would have been nice because a good portion of that movie does get ruined when we have to go through
You
our
have
history of
to have
film
been
classes
of
and
that
stuff
Dude,
like
the
that.
trailer ruins a good
Right,
portion of
exactly.
movie,
The trailer, yeah, even the trailer.
The
so.
DVD release ruins all
And
of
the fact that it's
twists in the
and the
movie.
fact that it's kind of like pop culture now. Like I knew of the shower scene in Psycho before I'd even ever seen Psycho.
And a lot of people know
You
that
know?
all
That's
the
not even
all the
like a
major
big
twists of
twist.
Psycho before
Yeah.
they even see it. So
Right,
like, oh, I
yeah.
don't need to see it because I already know everything. I'm like, well, that's not the same thing as seeing it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you said you liked Vertigo's your favorite.
Mhm.
Do you agree then with that new list that came out saying that Vertigo is the greatest movie?
Oh yeah, that's
Because
right.
Yeah, they bumped up and ousted
I
Citizen
hardly
Kane.
disagree because like Vertigo, I've seen Vertigo, but
Like
out of Hitchcock, it's not my favorite.
It's
I mean-
mine.
on like.
Yeah.
I loved it when the first time I saw it and just like how it ended, like it was amazing to me. But then, like the second time I watched it, it just didn't have as big as an impact because I already knew how it was going to end
Yeah.
and like the twist in that. But so it's my favorite Hitchcock film because of that first viewing.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure if I'd go as far as like the best film of all time.
Like you like it, but you.
Yeah, it was for Insight and Sound where they did that.
Yeah, and I was kind of like.
To be honest, actually, in my personal opinion, you really can't compare Vertigo and Citizen Kane. They're two polarly different movies. So
Right.
Maybe-
You had one more, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
to finish it off, I'm really surprised that of the people in the room, I'm the one who's going to have 2 Kubrick movies on my list.
Just go ahead, finish your thought.
5th movie, Clockwork Orange.
Nice.
and everybody who knows me knows that's my favorite film. So.
And now those pieces of Matt that were all scattered all over the room just sort of vaporized.
I've seen that movie 39 times. I'm not kidding. I've actually seen it 39 times.
No, he's not kidding.
I've seen it twice. Okay.
One time I literally spent a day just putting it on repeat.
Wow, see, I can't do that.
I was cleaning my room, so I needed to have some background noise. I ended up just sitting down and watching it every single time.
Like what? Why not have a Kubrick marathon instead of just a Clockwork Orange marathon by itself?
Because I analyzed the fuck out of
I
it.
can't like I think Kubrick is a great director, but I can't like watch all of his movies. I really can't. It's just like some of it's just like so tedious. I literally
The only
have
movie
to,
of his that I don't really like to watch, like off the beat, is Spartacus, because it's really not his
I
film.
think that's the one that I haven't seen. I mean, I've seen most like. If I haven't seen all of the movie, I've seen bits and pieces of it. But the only ones that I can watch of Kubrick that I can like literally sit and watch and have the, like don't have to put myself in some weird mood is The Shining and Paths of Glory.
Alright.
I do enjoy Paths of Glory.
Okay. And The Shining is a little bit more like, well, I guess not standard horror, but I mean that's probably
It's epic horror. It was
Right,
the first
right,
epic horror.
But I
film.
think out of like a lot of Kubrick films, that's one that is more easily accessible for people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, like
Definitely,
that's, and I think because it was based off of Stephen King, you know, and
And
Stephen
King hates that movie.
I know, yeah, he hates
And guess
it.
what? You know what? When he brought his own film adaptation of The Shining to television in a miniseries, and guess what? It fucking sucked.
Okay, so I
everyone
guess
knows that King is a great director. Maximum Overdrive, greatest movie ever.
The only good thing that Stephen King has ever written for screen is Rose Red. And that is it, in my opinion.
okay, so the last one to go that leaves me. Woo!
Nah, fuck you. I'm gonna go.
What? It was this Mutiny podcast over? Everybody's leaving.
We just lost
Yeah,
all
just
interest.
Half of our listeners are like, okay, done. Okay, so my very first one, and this is going to seem obvious to everybody, Star Wars.
I was
Because
gonna say Star Wars.
Now, are you talking about the
Batman,
entire saga or A New Hope?
I guess I have to be specific because A New Hope is the first. Star Wars that I watched and like let me put it in perspective this way. I saw Episode 1 in '99 and I was 9 years old. You know, like when it came out.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
So it's like it's one of those things. I remember seeing Episode 1 in theaters. That's what clued me into the Star Wars universe. But it didn't really hit me until one night I rented Star Wars Episode 4 from Blockbuster. And I also got an X-Wing Lego set. And I watched Episode 4, and this was back with VHSs and stuff like that. And, but anyway, the reason I'm mentioning Star Wars is because, I guess from Episode 4 onward, I fell in love with Star Wars. And I know I'm different than everybody else. I do like the prequels. I'm not saying, so I'm including all of Star Wars. Just because Star Wars is the biggest film that impacted my wanting to be a filmmaker, my desire to make films. Star Wars was that sort of like that dream type of film that I wanted to make. I wanted to be able to create something like this, something that was a phenomenon and that I believed was one of the best examples of sci-fi, and that can be debatable. I'm just saying from
It's your
as I grew up, that's how I felt. And yes, my view was very narrow.
It rocked your world.
It rocked my world.
To be honest,
But-
Mike, I can't really say too much difference between me and you when it came to the Star Wars, because the first Star Wars film I ever saw was The Empire Strikes Back.
There you go.
And that still is my favorite film of the entire series. I actually consider it to be one of the greatest sci-fi films ever made. And it was that's one of the things that constantly kept making me weigh the options of possibly being a filmmaker. It's like, because I want to make something that's that cool.
Right, yeah, see, and that's how I felt a lot about it. And then, I became a huge Star Wars fan. I played all the games and stuff like that. So, and then as I grew up, my most recent
Please tell me
film
you didn't play the Kinect Star Wars game.
No,
Good.
I did not. But my most recent film, All Souls, I did throw in a bunch of scenes that were, and not scenes, but like sort of ways I edited the film to reference Star Wars in that sort of type of vein.
Well, if it's a good film, it's an homage. If it's a bad film, it's a ripoff.
There you go.
You see, I think I'm the only one here who's only seen 2 Star Wars movies.
Which ones?
One,
That's important.
1 and 4.
Wow, so
You've got to watch 5!
You've seen like 2 polar opposites.
And Prediction 3 and 2.
Yeah. I mean, if you have seen 4, you gotta watch 5 because Empire Strikes Back is a great.
It's
film.
one of the few times where, in my personal opinion, the sequel does better than the original.
And to that point, I also really did like Return of the Jedi as well.
I did too.
You like the Ewoks?
Everybody keeps mentioning the Ewoks.
I don't hate.
I don't have a problem with the Ewoks, but I have a problem with the merchandising that came from the Ewoks.
Okay, and that's fine.
I don't hate the Ewoks, but when it did get to that part, I'm like, what? So
It had Warwick Davis. He was Willow.
to me, it was just it's standard Lucas / Spielberg where they want to include something that is a little bit more family friendly, and this wasn't as far as like they did with Jar Jar in Episode 1. This was still
what do you
more
mean they?
Lucas,
basically.
You mentioned Spielberg too, so.
Well, I mean, they are best friends. They've worked together on a lot of projects. But anyway, yes, next film. Actually, all my films from this point on are from the 2000s onward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm a very contemporary film fan. 2 film franchises that I left off this list was Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. Because I could go on for days about
We've
this.
already had
Exactly.
We've already talked for days about that stuff.
I know. So that's why I left them off the list. Inception is my next one because.
Not surprised.
Yes, exactly. I don't think any of you are going to be shocked by my list in any way because Inception just to me is like that perfect film that you want to make as a filmmaker because Nolan. This was his script. I mean, yes, he worked with it with his brother, but this was his script.
Oh no, he completely wrote this on his own. He didn't write. I
thought his brother was a consultant on it though.
If he was, I'm not sure. I don't know if it actually listed because he wrote like the back.
Right, but see, this is like the dream film. This is a script that he thought of.
Quite
that
literally,
is
yes.
that is an original idea. Like it's something unique that we haven't really seen, and the fact
unless
that
you've watched Paprika.
Well, okay, but the fact that he pulls it off. That he pulls it off without using a lot of CGI. He used practical effects. He used CGI when necessary. It's a perfect tool in filmmaking of this is the film you would want to make. Because he was given complete creative control. Warner Brothers trusts him like crazy because he makes them money.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
so,
he really has one of the only people who really have a deal like him in the film industry today is Steven Spielberg.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
he owns his own production company.
Right.
The only other person who got the type of deal that Nolan gets now was Kubrick. That was really it.
Yeah. So that's why Inception ranks up that high with me. I really loved the film. It blew me away when I watched it. So, and that was the first time in a while that I've been blown away by a film. The next one, also more recent, and might be a little bit of a shock, the Sherlock Holmes films.
I'm not surprised.
The most recent Sherlock Holmes films. I thought Robert Downey Jr. did a fantastic job in bringing back a character who had been sort of forgotten somewhat. I mean, there's the BBC show. I can't talk. BBC show. But other than that, Sherlock Holmes sort of faded out of really, I guess, popular culture. And with these films, they come back, and this was during a time
and they told the character right.
Right, exactly. They told the character right, and it came back at a time where there were so many remakes and sequels, and this was something that was brand new and original back in 2010 it came out, or 2011? I think it came out in 20...
The first one came out...
Oh, no, it may have been 9, yeah.
Yeah, I think the first film came out in 2009.
Yeah.
No, I was waiting for someone.
Oh, because...
the other one came out just this year? Did it
last
come
year.
out
Last year. It was last year.
Yeah, last year.
The end of last year.
The end of last year. And another reason I like them, those are the types of films that, they have like these overarching mysteries where there are all these details that you can notice throughout the film that the film makes apparent, but you can't really put you're following the main character, but you can't really put the story together until he puts it together at the end. Then you're like, wow, I feel stupid for not noticing that or that or that or that. And that's what I kind of wish I could do with some of my scripts in my films.
Still haven't seen the second one.
You should.
I haven't
It's better
either.
than the first.
I'm not going to say it's better, but it's just as good. I still think I liked the first one better, but I loved that mind battle at the end of Game of Shadows.
I'll be interested in actually watching because I'm a big fan of Guy Ritchie, and I like the first one.
I was about to say you've seen the first one, right?
Yeah, I've seen the first one. I really like the first one. I haven't been able to.
Movie from what Guy Ritchie's used to.
To be honest, actually, the humor is very Guy Ritchie, and that's how you can tell it is Guy Ritchie. It definitely looks different than any of the films.
It's very more commercial than anything.
Yeah.
Man, I hope the last film on your list is The Wicker Man.
No.
The original was amazing.
Troll 2?
No.
The Matrix.
Let me just say something.
Anything with Nicolas Cage.
When I joined Filmmakers Anonymous, Amber was the president. Whoever has seen Troll 2 and knows what I look like, I entered the room. I entered Filmmakers Anonymous. I sat down. This is the first day. I didn't know who Amber was. She looks right at me and goes, "You look like that guy from Troll 2."
First I said, "Have you ever seen the movie Troll 2?
Yeah.
And you're like, "No," and it said, "Oh, because there's this guy and you look just like him." And then I'm like, "Let me pull up the scene."
And if you want to look at the scene, look up Troll 2, Oh My God, and that's the scene that we're referring to. But anyway.
So now the viewers at home can finally have an image for this voice.
Well,
why do I have a feeling you're going to steal a copy of the video file and implant the footage in there?
Well,
subliminal input.
Well, Mike, whenever I see you now,
I just gave him an idea. So
whenever I see you now, I'm going to say, "Oh my God!"
I join the club. That's what everybody else does. So. That character was retarded. Anyway. Okay.
Welcome to Nobog.
You like
so my second to last one on the list.
Troll 2.
No. Surprisingly, Troll 2 did not make my list. No, was Spider-Man.
The Room.
And I'm actually going to qualify this by saying Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. Because I love...
We don't think of Spider-Man 3 at all.
Yes, we ignore
Spider-Man 3 doesn't exist.
It does not exist. But no, I'm specifically saying Spider-Man 2 because I thought Spider-Man 2 was much better than Spider-Man 1.
Definitely so.
But the reason...
predict your entire list, Mike.
I know you could.
I
know you could. But Spider-Man 1 was great because you know how now we have like the Dark Knight films, we have the Avengers, we have... Spider-Man really generated this sort of generation of superhero films where the hero films are actually taken really seriously. Like Batman Returns they got closer to that sort of like
It got darker.
Right, it got darker, but it
Yeah.
still had a certain level of like this still feels like an obvious comic book film. At this rate,
Well,
these are still comic
the
book
first Batman
movies.
before
Well, you could
Returns.
argue X-Men, which came, the 2 years before that.
Did
That's
it?
true too.
Yeah.
Okay, my view is a little slanted. I didn't see X-Men until much later.
Yeah.
I saw X-Men 2 before I saw X-Men 1.
Yeah, X-Men 2000, Spider-Man 2002.
Okay, and that's fine, but they're close enough in that range,
Yeah,
and I think both of them were so well received that it brought in this new age of where superhero films can actually be done seriously and taken seriously, and now they've been trying a few that haven't
Well, also
been
like
pulled
in
off.
the late '90s, there was a whole slew of really bad superhero movies that came out,
Right.
especially ending with the movie Steel, starring Shaquille O'Neal.
Right.
They
God.
actually. Well, the thing
Yeah.
is, one of the actual reviews of the movie, I actually ended up looking up on Rotten Tomatoes, and several reviews actually claimed it was actually the death of the comic book movie,
Right.
and it wasn't
really
regenerated
did
until the early 2000s again. So.
Right, and see, X-Men 1...
I kind of
would
half
put-
expected people to say that for Superman 4, but whatever.
To be honest, I'm not a fan of any of the Superman movies.
Well,
I'm not a fan of
No.
Superman.
I'm not a fan of
himself.
Christopher Reeve because he's such a hypocritical fuck.
He's dead.
And-
I know he is, so now I can talk about him without people getting on my case.
Good riddance.
But
how can a man fly if he can't even walk?
He ruined the He can barely breathe, let alone lift his pinky.
rest in peace, Christopher Reeve.
He's been dead for a couple years. The guy fucked up the remake of Rear Window.
We have just seen a bit of my dark side.
Ooh, even I found that in bad taste.
Yeah, I don't feel very good right now.
but anyway, that's
Rest in peace, man.
that my whole point is that I love Spider-Man the film so much because that actually I was never a big fan of the comic book itself. I fell in love with the movie, and the movie made me fall in love with the character. And then I really love Spider-Man
Because in
1 and 2.
reality, the comic book character is fucking stupid. Peter
And
Parker
that's-
is the epitome of the person who never fucking grew up.
and that's fair.
Saga.
But my last film.
One more day.
And now I'm not. I wonder. I wonder what you might think this last
I
one.
want
is.
Amber to guess it.
Yeah, come on, Amber. You get 5 points if you guess it.
I swear to God, if it's the room, I'm gonna hit you.
No, it's not. I'll throw you that one. It's not the room.
Is it Manos?
No.
I don't think he's ever seen Manos.
I
You've already
honestly
said-
don't think you
You've
will
already
get this
seen
one.
you
Star
already
Wars,
said
Inception, Sherlock Holmes, Spider-Man.
Is it another Nolan film?
No. Haha, gotcha.
This house, I swear to God, I'm gonna hit you.
24.
Oh, no, I'm not gonna put that on my list. But
Not now.
and this is actually a surprising pick then. Wall-E.
Wall-E is awesome!
Thank you.
Okay, it's in my personal opinion, it's the best Pixar film that's ever been made.
And Matt, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I love Wall-E to death because the first time I watched it, it was the most unique and original film, especially animated film, I had seen in a very long time. The fact that for the first, half hour, 40 minutes of the film, there is no real dialogue.
And I love
And
how
that's
people love
brilliant.
Wall-E for that, and also they piss all over 2001 for the same fucking thing. Even though in Wall-E there's so many homages to 2001. Even when the captain is fighting the co-pilot.
Yeah.
One, the co-pilot is obviously Hal.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
two, they are playing Thus Spake Zarathustra while it's happening, which is the opening theme to 2001. When me and my friend Zach were sitting in the theater, even though we were 19 years old, sitting a bunch of little kids and their parents, we were always getting weird looks. As soon as that started, we burst out laughing because we knew exactly what it was, and everyone else gave us more weird looks.
I saw that movie with a friend of mine who was the same age. We were like, we're cool. We love Pixar. I go to see basically every movie that Pixar puts out. So
Except for Cars 2.
except for Cars 2.
Except
And
for
I-
Cars
that
1.
I did go and see Brave. It was
I haven't
okay.
seen Brave yet,
Brave was
actually.
all right. It has a good story, but it has more adult humor, which is kind of enjoyable because they actually did sort of try to aim the audience upwards a little bit. But overall, it's not one of their stronger pieces. But anyway, that's why I love Wall-E. It's one of my favorite Pixar films. It's one of the best examples of what animation can do because watching that film, you get lost just in like the beauty of the landscapes. Even though the landscape of Earth is all trash, you love all the details in that trash. Like,
well, it's kind of like that one movie. It's not a good movie by itself, but the scenery is great. 2012.
really? I haven't seen 2012.
Right. The movie itself is bad. I mean, it's not awful bad, but it's like forgettably bad. But the scenes of destruction are so visceral. That
I always call Roland Emmerich the best of the bad directors. He's got talent, he just chooses not to use it.
Yeah, man, Independence Day.
Yeah, Independence Day was good,
His best movie was The Patriot.
but then he went on to make a slew of films that were all the same.
He's destroyed the world more times over
How
than
many
anyone
times
else.
are you going to blow up the Statue of Liberty, Roland? How many times are you going to destroy the Statue of Liberty? How many times?
He refrained from doing that in Godzilla. He just blew up the Chrysler building.
Oh, that's great. Good to know.
That's a negative impact. Negative impact. That's a goddamn Chrysler building we're talking about.
but let's face it, she had it coming.
All standing there.
That bitch.
So that was my.
Give us your time report.
List.
You lying bitch, man. Goddamn.
I'm a very contemporary
It's the
filmmaker.
only one. It's the only one. Everything else I predicted.
Were you actually saying to yourself, like right before?
I was like,
Inception?
well, I know Star Wars is probably going to be the first thing he says. I know Inception's going to be in there. I know he's probably going to put in Spider-Man, and I remembered that you did like Sherlock Holmes, so I was like, I would probably know. And then it was the last one. I was like, it could be Batman or something like that.
I was tempted to put Batman on my list, but like. But I can't really justify that because
At first I was thinking you're going to put like just Christopher Nolan.
Just Nolan, all
I just
of
love
Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
I was actually half tempted to do that actually with Werner Herzog, but
See, because like I did love The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Rises was a little bit of a disappointment. I liked it when I first watched it, but then when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? That movie could have been a lot better than it should have been, and I didn't like Batman Begins that much. I liked the first half hour of that movie. That's about it. So that's why I can't really fully put Nolan on there. That's why I put Inception, because I love Inception more than Dark Knight.
I know.
But yeah. So yeah, we're about to wrap up here. But before we do, I just we posted this topic on my UMBC, and we actually got we actually got a lot of good responses. Alec Duncan, who actually interrupted our podcast. Thanks, Alec. His first few ones that he mentions are Airplane, which is a great film, and he mentions Dr. Strangelove. There you go, Tyler.
I mean, Dr. Strangelove is the greatest dark comedy made yet. So right next to Harold and Maude.
We have a bunch of other responses here. Lisa Thompson posts The Princess Bride. She actually, she posts like a whole paragraph of films. White Chicks, Tangled, Princess and the Frog,
Wait,
Toy
she
Story.
just put White Chicks?
She did put White Chicks on there.
Boom! Sorry, Lisa, boom!
I
shall
smell
post
it
more.
more.
And then she says, I shall post more in caps at the end.
After you put White Chicks.
You've lost your credibility, sorry.
Ryan DeVore, another member of Filmmakers Anonymous, he posts Star Wars Episode 5. He posts Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, The Iron Giant, Seven Samurai, and Spirited Away.
Yeah.
And then somebody underneath also, Christina Wenger. Also, I'm sorry if I just mispronounced her name. I'm sorry. +1 for Spirited Away, and actually just +1 for Miyazaki. She says.
Yeah,
Miyazaki's the shit, but what about Satoshi Kon? I don't give him any love.
We have a shout out from Raymond Johnson for 2001: Space Odyssey. We have Abigail Williams. She put down also.
Abigail Williams?
Yeah, that's the name that I'm reading off of here.
Crucible?
I hope not. She'll be very old by this point.
She's a witch.
I mean, she posted a lot of films. I'm just gonna go
Please
through
say
ones.
The Crucible.
No.
Damn it.
That would have been funny.
She put The Avengers, The Iron Giant, which we actually threw around when we were talking about this topic beforehand.
Iron Giant's a really good movie.
Yeah,
Vin Diesel.
Back to the Future, The Incredibles, which I will go on record, I did not like The Incredibles as much as everybody else did, and I don't know why that movie gets as much praise. It's not as good of a movie as everybody thinks. It's not a bad film, but it's not a great film.
I love how you put that like it's not as good of a movie as everyone thinks. Like, I have the final say.
No, well,
Well, your opinion might be yours, but it's invalid.
But yeah, so anyway, that's about it. So thanks guys for joining us for this week of the Filmmakers Anonymous show.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I was going to get to that, Amber. Happy
Sorry.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and
Way
not
to
with
cut
the
it off
fucking
hose.
Christmas shit. Thanksgiving's one of the only truly American holidays. Enjoy it while it lasts.
And there's Matt's 2 cents.
Sorry, I work at Target, so we've been listening to the Christmas music
Matt's
already.
paid like 20 cents so far.
They started playing Christmas music on 101.9. I can't listen to that station until Thursday now.
It's like, shut up, you whores!
That's the rule of my family. But once again, if you want to find us on the social media, search UMBC's Filmmakers Anonymous on Facebook, tweet us, UMBCFA, watch previous episodes of this show on youtube.com/UMBCFA. We'll also have other videos up there as well. And download the full episode of this, where you can actually hear where Alec interrupts us, on groupspaces.com/Filmmakers Anonymous. Thanks for joining, everybody. Have a great holidays. Happy Thanksgiving.